Yes, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another video for you guys today. Had to take the break yesterday because, like we said, international duty, it calls for that, especially when there's nothing else to talk about. But it also means that we can rack up the stories for you guys, and it means we can give you a much more in-depth stream for you, maybe on a less regular basis, but the streams are better for you guys at the very least. In this video, you guys already know what the titles is talking about. We're going to be talking about Sergio Aguero. We're going to be talking about Erling Haaland and Mino Raiola doing a trip around Europe, trying to find potential suitors for his striker. We're going to talk about the striker options as always. We'll touch on the West Bromwich Albion game a little bit because there's a bit of news, but only a little bit of news. But first off, big up Johnny in the cup, bro. What are you telling me, man?
Yeah, big up, Lewis. Big up everyone in the chat, and like and subscribe, all that jazz. Usual routine. Yeah, all good. Very happy to be here, bro. And yeah, much needed day off yesterday.
Damn right, man. Some of these days are really needed. Otherwise, you come on these streams and you're just chatting out of your ass for like an hour straight. You need to give yourself that bit of a break. Also, first use, we all start on a positive note. Big Tuchel, manager of the month winner, and this has finally been well received because he should have won this last month, if we're being honest. Antonio Conte racked up 3 months in a row. Really and truly, Tuchel should have been racking up 3 months in a row, but better late than never, I guess. Johnny, what are you saying?
Yeah, very happy. Fully deserved. Gaffer's doing bits, isn't he? He's doing bits, and like I couldn't have wished for or dreamed of a better start by TT. He's come in, literally landed off his aeroplane and started training. It's just gone from there. Results after results. You could argue we should have maybe turned a few of those draws into a win, but you know, you can't argue. I think, what is it? 14 games, 3 draws, and 11 wins. Yeah,
and one
no
goal
defeats.
conceded by an opposition player.
Yeah, Minamino, that's it.
Literally just it.
Yeah. With the run we've had as well, and the teams we've come against, I mean, that is very impressive. I'm not going to lie. Very impressive.
Yeah, and with the run of games that we have right now, it looks like it could continue on as well. First, I do want to touch on the West Brom game a little bit because I can't lie, I am feeling a little bit cautious for the West Brom game. It feels like a little bit of a banana slip. We've had a lot of players who have gone on to international duty, and in my opinion, have been overplayed as well. And they're coming back straight into a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday against a West Brom side with barely any players that have had to go anywhere. So they're all on a 2-week break. So for me, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the fact that there's also Sam Allardyce going away to a top 6 side. And I'm not worried that we could lose the game or anything like that, but I am a bit cautious. I do see a potential banana slip in this game.
Yeah. I do as well. I don't think we will. I think, look, if you look at West Brom where they are, they've literally got like 18 points. They're second from bottom. Doesn't look like it's very likely that they're going to get out. So for me, we should be winning this game, and the next sort of 4 or 5 fixtures, apart from City, they're all winnable fixtures. My concern is Havertz has played 3 full 90 minutes. Mount's played 2 full 90 minutes and 45 minutes. So for me, our 2 players that, if you look at our whole 11, they're sort of coming into a bit of form. So for me, is Tuchel going to rest them for such an important game after international break? I don't know. I think Werner as well, having that miss, he's come out and said, you know, I think he's going to play him, and to sort of just not worry about a mental block. So we've got no Kante hamstring, and Jorginho, I don't know if he's in the squad or in contention.
Nah, Jorginho's back.
He's back, is he?
Yeah, so it's probably Jovicic.
Okay. Because that would have, I think you would have had to go with Billy Gilmore and Kovacic. But okay, and then Adoy's out, Pulisic coming to form. So we have got players coming to form in the areas that we want. Christensen's had a blinder, hasn't he? He hasn't conceded a goal for God knows how long.
14 hours, bro.
Yeah, that's
like,
what
it's a madness. We've been talking about the ACR and everything, but it only continues to keep getting stronger. It's glorious.
He's
the only
balling.
jarring thing is you got a few dead names that we're adding in there for the next few games, because it's only West Brom, Palace, Maybe the Porto game, we could throw Marega in there or something like that. But other than that, I don't even know if I can be that shameless to throw a few names. Maybe Callum Robinson, because I swear he's only scored 3 times in the league and it's all been against us for 2 different clubs. Or someone will correct me if I'm right in the comment section. But Rowan with the comment here saying last time we came back from an international break, we played Newcastle away at 12:30. Werner was missing everything but Friday glorious assist. This is what I was worried about when it came to Werner too, because you remember the last international break, Germany had a terrible international spell. I think they got beaten 5-0 by Spain or something like that. And Werner came and his confidence just completely deteriorated from before he went off international duty to after. And I'm kind of worried we see the same thing happen again.
Yeah, from that miss as well, his confidence is. Well, you've heard the talk that he's been training extras on practicing shooting, and Tuchel's like, listen, I mean, I've got the quote is pretty cool actually by Tuchel. I'll read it out for everyone. So he basically says Timo wanted to do extra training on finishing yesterday, but I sent him in and said your brain knows how to score, so don't worry, it will come. If a woman does not if a woman does not want to go out to dinner with you, you cannot force her. Step back and it will come. I love that. I mean, I think that if anyone's gonna sort of try and rejuvenate Timo and get his confidence back, because it seems like it's right in the mud at the minute, Tuchel can do it. If he decides to play him, I trust in Tuchel, play him. But yeah, I think the Germany international, apart from Havertz looks good for me. He looks like he's coming into form. He looks dangerous, got assist, he scored a goal. It's what I want to see from Havertz. So I'm not too worried. I think Timo's the only concern. But Germany have got problems, mate. They got problems. There's a lot of talk. Like he didn't, Love didn't even change the team for 3 games in a row. I mean, what do you expect? We know Southgate's not the greatest manager, but he's changing the team each game, wasn't he? So yeah, there's something not right there with Germany, and I think that's affecting players like Timo who are already down.
So do I, and I'd hope that Tuchel will be the one to finally unlock him. But we've been in this situation already. Like we've been saying, we want to see Tuchel be the one to try and unlock Werner, but we're here now 12, 13 games into Tuchel's reign as Chelsea manager. Werner's also already scored for us against Newcastle. And still, the confidence still isn't there. And that's the worrying part. Now I'm thinking, what really will it take for us to finally get to see a clinical Timo Werner? Like, I know it's easier said than done, but if this isn't going to change the confidence, if 12 games under a new manager isn't going to change it, what will?
Yeah. Do you know what I think? I'm going to bring up a point now and see what you think, Lewis. So, like from Leipzig, I didn't watch Leipzig, every game for 90 minutes and every game Timo played. But from what I've been told and what I've heard is he does miss a lot of chances. Now, he scored over 30 plus goals last season, and that's fantastic. Like, there's not many strikers in world football that are doing that. So you've got to take note, and there is a striker in him, but we have not been creating that many chances per game, and we're playing against a lot of low blocks. So is it a case that Timo is just a striker that does miss chances, and if you're not creating enough chances, he's going to miss those chances, and we're going to see how prolific he really isn't right now. And I think that's basically what we're seeing. If we were a team creating like 15 chances, 20 chances a game, and he misses like 12 of them, but he's going to score 1 or 2 of them, then the ratio's there. But right now, we're only creating like maybe 5 or 6 chances in the game, and he'd probably miss all of those, which he has been. Do you get what I mean? So that I don't know if that's just the way Timo is. Is it something we have to get used to with Timo Werner, or is it literally only a confidence issue? And I think time will only tell. I can't really answer it. I know there's a player in there. I back him. Like, I've backed him since he signed, and I'll back him. I'm backing him now. I'm never going to slander Timo. Like, because at the end of the day, his all-round game, what he offers to us up front, is priceless in the games that we've played, and we've got 1 point. His movement, his speed, is obviously defenses are worried and scared of him. It's just his finishing, but I think that's all he needs to work on. He just needs the ball in the net. He just needs to put the ball in the net now. It doesn't matter how it comes. It can come off his flipping arse or his knee. It doesn't matter. Get the ball in the net, and I think we will see a Timo start to come back to what he
I'd
was
hope
like.
so, but we just had that with the Newcastle game, and still not really much has changed. Like the Everton game after that, I was just thinking, Werner, really? Because he had like the same thing where he had 2 or 3 big chances, and both of them went straight at Jordan Pickford.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. It's like, I still believe in him, and I said I'd give him till next season, and I stand by that. But the excuses are really starting to run out for me because we can't keep trying to defend the same thing that happens again and again and again. We can say as an all-round player, yeah, he's still quality, and the team still looks worse when he isn't in the squad. But he still needs to bury these chances. It goes both ways.
But do you not think the lack of chance creation is a big factor? If he does miss, let's say he gets 10 chances, right, and he's guaranteed to miss like 6 or 7 of them, and that's just the way Timo is. I mean, if we're not even creating those 10 chances, we're basically saying he's going to miss them, aren't we? He's not going to put them away. He needs like quite a few chances to put them away. But I do think his confidence, I really do, and we can't blame Lampard as well. A lot of fans were saying, "Oh, it's Lampard's fault where he's playing Timo or he's overplaying him and this and that." The bottom line is, you can see even under Tuchel, there's an issue with Werner. Something is not right. And I don't know what it is. We all assume it's confidence. I can't. I'm not going to accept. Oh, he's just not got the ability, because he clearly has.
No, he definitely does.
Yeah. So, what is it? Is he really not settled behind the scenes in his home life? Is he doesn't? There's so many other factors that we don't know about that would affect a player. But at the same time, he should be this German striker, that German mentality of no nonsense, sort of like emotionless, if you like, ice cold, and we haven't seen that with him. We just haven't. It's almost like he's too soft, and we want that.
Yeah.
We want that machine up front.
Yeah, that's also why people are trying to link us to Lukaku and Haaland, and that also segues into the super chat as well from Artem saying, "Big up Lewis and Johnny. Let's get back on a winning roll tomorrow. Can't overlook West Brom. Haaland's agent visiting today. Hopefully everything goes well." We already know about the Haaland links. We've already spoken about our thoughts on the Erling Haaland links as well. But think about it like this: if he is literally going around Europe speaking to every suitor possible, there is no way in hell we can look at trying and getting Erling Haaland on the cheap, because there's no way it's going to happen. He's very, very sought after. That also means that the agent can bump up his own fees as well, because everyone's after the talent, everyone's after the product. And if everyone's competing for it, then it's going straight to the highest bidder, which means they can violate, which is just all the more reason why I'm saying 150 million, then the contract's going to have to be massive as well. There's probably going to be agent fees in it too. It's not completely worth it in the long term, especially when for all of this he has to hit the ground running, and if he doesn't do it, we look like the biggest laughing stocks in the league.
Yeah, I mean the subject today is what, Aguero, right?
Yeah.
For me, I think the Chelsea board have regretted the day they never signed him when they had the chance. And I was crying out for us to sign Aguero. If we've got the opportunity to sign Aguero and it's for free, I'm all down. I'm for it. I think we got one of the best medical teams. We've proven it with Eden Hazard, and a lot of our players who go out injured and they come back pretty quick. So I'm confident he can accept the wages. I'm hearing that he would like to maybe, he's got family in London, or he wants to stay in the UK. So if that's the case, would be the perfect club for him, because he can still win titles and trophies with a club like Chelsea, as opposed to your Arsenals and other clubs like that, who would probably really offer him a good deal. But for me, I definitely take him with Giroud going out. in terms of Haaland and Lukaku, I've sort of made it clear with Lukaku. I get why everyone would like him, but Lukaku he's developed his game from what I've researched in the sense of his link up play. He's not it's like all the managers that have had him in the past have kind of said, you're the lone striker, just run and beat defenders and shoulder barge them and just, blast it in the net kind of shithouse striker. Whereas now he's actually developed his game where he plays with the Lautaro Martinez, and he's added to his all-round game. And I like that. That's great. But could he do that? Like sometimes we've seen, like with the Dwight Yorks and the Andy Cole, when you've got a chemistry, and you take one of those out of that partnership and put them into another scenario, and he put him with Werner, is it going to work? For me, it's quite a risk because Lukaku is not going to. You want Lukaku for his link-up play more than anything, especially the way Tuchel plays. So, is he able to do that with a player like Werner? Or is it going to be a case of just having a Pulisic or an Odoi working with him on the left side, and then
I
you
guess
have
the link up with Werner, but it could go both ways. Like, I could see Werner sprinting down the wing and then cutting it back to a Romelu Lukaku who's in a perfect position.
True.
And same way with an Aguero too. I feel like it works great for both.
I'd rather have an Aguero, and he's prolific. We need a prolific striker. If you look at all of our strikers,
that's exactly the profile we need.
Yeah, if you look at all of our strikers, Lewis, right? Aguero's better than all of them. He's better. He's miles ahead of Tammy. He's miles ahead of Giroud. He's miles ahead of Werner.
Yeah.
Clear as day. If anything, he's more prolific than Haaland and Lukaku. For me, so you take a player like that. He's just keeping him fit, but you still need a player like a Haaland or a Lukaku as well. You still need that player. I mean, is it a case the board are looking at Aguero going, look, we might not go for Haaland. If Haaland's going to stay at Dortmund and we want Haaland, we're going to go all out for him next year. So is it a case of let's get Aguero as a stopgap, because I think he'll do exactly what we need, and we'll keep Tammy, and we got Werner and Giroud will go. That might be the thought process behind it, or it's a case of no, we're going to get Aguero and we want to get a player like Haaland. I just think 90 million for Lukaku. Oh no, it's more than that, because I saw can't remember who the source was. Reliable source said that Lukaku was up for about 120 million euros.
Reported it, but it was someone else's sort, and it said that Lukaku, Inter Milan need to sell one or two of their key players, and Lukaku could go for about 120 million euros.
Yeah, so that's near enough. If you convert it, it's roughly, I don't know. That's
just over 100.
Yeah,
just over under 100 million.
And then you're looking at Haaland. His converted rate of 153 million euros is about 127 million, something like that. I mean, that's not far off, is it? I think it's a case of, are other clubs going to put down the same money as Chelsea for Haaland? And then it's just a case of who Haaland chooses.
Yeah, it's not that much of a difference between Lukaku and Haaland. But my problem it's the price tag, but it's also experience for me. That's my thing, because I need someone who I'm sure can hit the ground running straight away. I don't think Haaland can. I think he can adapt to the Premier League, and in about 2 or 3 years' time, he'd be an amazing centre forward in our system. I've always said that. But I think with Chelsea, they need someone who's going to hit the ground running now. They can't be patient again. Like, we have a young squad, but we need experience around it now to push us to actual title contenders. Because other than that, we're just inexperienced.
Do you not think, though, bringing in Aguero does add that experience?
Yeah, Aguero, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
like,
and then
my only worry is his wages. Like, if he could take a bit of a pay cut, like, that would fully sell me on an Aguero. But as a player, yeah, I wouldn't turn my nose up at him. On a free as well, as a short-term option, it's an excellent deal for us. As long as he's not our number one striker for the season, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. I think he'll have a big role if he stays fit, he's got a massive role for us.
It's only the fitness that's the problem for me. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's saying age, but he is only 32. Like, I saw the scores say it perfectly. We signed Vialli in our 30s. We signed Mark Hughes in our 30s. We signed Zola in our 30s. Didier Drogba's prime season for Chelsea was when he was 32 years old as well. So he's not washed at this age. He's still scoring regularly, even if he doesn't play regularly this season through injuries. He's still the same Sergio Aguero. He's just... No, I won't say he's still the same Sergio Aguero. He's past his prime, but he is not washed. He is nowhere near washed. He could still be a very valuable asset to the right team if he's used perfectly. We just shouldn't over rely on him. If we rely on Aguero for next season, that's the problem for me. If he's an option for us, that's completely different.
there's a lot of situations, though, isn't there, Lewis? You got the Tammy situation that depend, and you got the Giroud situation. We got, do we go for Haaland? Does he want to leave this year? Is he going to choose us? If he doesn't go, is there Lukaku? Then you got Aguero. I mean, there's a lot of movement happening in our forward line, and there's question marks over Werner. On top of that, because I mean, are we not thinking that next year? Obviously, the squad of players we have, they're all going to have gelled. They should have gelled a lot better for next year. Having this whole year,
we got our attack in it.
Yeah.
The only thing is we haven't had a preseason. That's the only one thing I'd say.
Yeah. Bottom line is we both agree with take Aguero. I think most people would. You don't turn Aguero down, a player of that quality and stature, and what he offers to, what he can offer us to in big games as well. He might not play all the lesser games, but he'll play. He'll definitely be part of the bigger games. And
yeah, but that's it for me. That's experience.
Yeah, it's what we need.
And but also as well, because Pep's saying they're not going for a striker this summer. Bollocks. That's exactly what I think of that. Like, no one really needs to believe that. If they really weren't going for a striker this summer, why are they letting Aguero go? When we're all saying that we still know the quality that Aguero possesses, if you use him in the right way. That's bullshit. It's the biggest load of arse. Like, please don't believe that. Like, I'm sure they said the same thing last season about defenders, and then they went and got Ruben Diaz. So I'm not believing this, that they're not going for a striker this summer. I think that's just mind games. I think that's just Pep trying to have some sort of influence in the press room. Like, it's nothing serious. I wouldn't take that serious.
Yeah, that's probably his response to Raiola, to be fair. That's probably his response to what Raiola said.
Because he was meant to say that he wouldn't do business with Man City. I mean, low-key, I still don't believe in that either. Both are as shady as each other, and anything could happen in football.
Totally. I don't trust any. Look, at the end of the day, we all know, everyone knows in world football, City have got money. And if they want to spend, they will spend. It's simple as that. So Pep can say whatever he wants. And yeah, all right, they do what Pep wants to an extent. Most clubs do, like if they back their manager. The only thing with us is that we've seen now that the ball just does what the ball does. Does Tuchel have a say? I think he only has a say if he goes and wins something, wins a Champions League or an FA Cup. More so Champions League. If he does
but even with that, do you not think the work he's done right now for Chelsea gives him a say? Like, he's come here and we've only conceded once.
I know, it's just hard to say, Lewis, because
I look at it like this.
had a good season last season. He had a good season and he still wasn't
but
back.
top four's always seen as the basic requirement. Like, the board were never going to take fourth as anything serious. The thing I look at it with Tuchel is, I say this, I look at the table. We're 14 points off Man City right now. Every game that we lost in that bad run with Lampard that led to him being sacked, if Tuchel was there and we win those, we're top of the league right now. That's the biggest statement for me on the Tuchel. And the 12 games he's had since then are a perfect example of it. Look, Wolves, Everton, City, Arsenal, Leicester. That's 5 games. That's 15 points. So to say, for me, Tuchel is playing on title-winning form. Title-winning form means you deserve a say, but it also depends on the board too. I get what you're saying on that front.
I just think the board are not going to change. It's just clear as day. I won't think anything less, anything other than that, because they'll go and buy who they want. They'll just go and buy who they want. If they want Haaland, or Roma wants Haaland, and Tuchel might say, I don't really want Haaland, I prefer Lukaku, they'll just go and get Haaland anyway, regardless. Even if Tuchel
You
does
see,
an
the thing
amazing
is,
job.
Johnny. Yeah. Obviously, big up to the panel, Lewis, and that. I was speaking to Euro Expert. Obviously, you know him. He's jumped on your streams and stuff.
Dropping the link in
And
1 minute.
and yeah, what's it called? He told me that he'd think that Tuchel would have more say on his DMs than is his strikers. So I feel like if that's the case, obviously that's his opinion. But if that's the case, then I feel like that might go in hand with Roman, because I think Roman, regardless if what's his name, if Tuchel wants a striker or not, I feel like he will try to get Haaland, and I feel like it's gonna be like a Kai Havertz signing where whether he fits into our system or not, let's get him before a team gets him, because it's our best chance. So yeah, I feel like whether or not Tuchel wants him, I think Chelsea would get a striker, whether that's Haaland or the other names mentioned as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely. I think if they want him, they'll go and get him. It's like Havertz. You don't pass on Havertz. So if you've got the best opportunity to sign Haaland, you don't pass on Haaland either.
Yeah,
And the board are even more confident now, and I'll tell you why. It's a simple fact that Tuchel's come in with the squad that he's been given. It's not his squad, all right? He's inherited it, and look what he's done with it. So they can look at it like, well, if we get you Haaland, you'll make it work. And there's not many managers out there that can do that.
That's the thing. I don't like that mindset because it also just screams what we did in 2017. Where we were just like, yeah, you've won the league with this team. Here's some other players. Do the best on this too.
Yeah. That's my worry.
I feel like the players we're getting now, I think, like, what's his name? Haaland and Lukaku. Haaland or Lukaku will be better than getting someone like a Morata or a Barkley or an Emerson or a Zappa.
Oh yeah, no, it's way better in terms of the quality.
I feel like
Tuchel
can make that work, and you got to remember the strikers we're getting linked to. Yeah, I feel like Tuchel might like what's his name, Lukaku as well, because as much as Lukaku's big and everyone thinks he's this target man, he has got pace and he likes to be direct and he likes to be in the final third of space, and he's made strikers with pace work. You look at like Mbappe, Aubameyang at Dortmund. So I feel like even if we don't, I don't think Tuchel will have much to say on what striker he wants. I think Roman would just go all out for Haaland. If he can't get that, he'll probably try to get Lukaku or someone like that. But for like what striker we give Tuchel, I think Tuchel can make it work with the names we're giving him.
Do you think, Lewis, do you reckon that, or guys, do you reckon that Pogba would be a Tuchel type player that he would want in that deep line position?
I think
Pogba, you'd want to play further forward, wouldn't you? Like, I wouldn't want to play him in a deeper position.
My problem is with Pogba, Johnny. It's like consistency. One game he had one game if he had a good game, that's all good. But next week, like when he had a bad game, all of a sudden, it's like he's in front of the tabloid next day. So
Pogba,
I'm not sure I'm not sure where Pogba will fit in this type of system.
But
I see lots of him during his time in France partnering alongside Kante. It worked, but let's remember ourselves that France and Chelsea are a different breed. We all know that, and I'm sure like what's Pogba's future right now, and also don't forget Pogba's agent also handled by Mino Raiola. So. Yeah, man.
The
question that comes into my mind is like, is he going to stay on Man United or he wants to go somewhere else, like Real Madrid?
I think he wants to move, Fata. I generally think he's 28 now. He's just turned 28. He's arguably in his prime. When this season there's been a balance about Manchester United, and he's looked good. And like when they played against us, you could tell they needed Pogba in that game. And they missed him, and that shows how good he is once he's in the right balanced squad. I think he would fit right into our team. I literally think him with the Havertzes and the Ziyech's and Kovacic's and all Jorginho and all these players, Kante especially, we know it will work.
Yeah.
And
my
he'll
only
have the
concern
best
is
chance of
consistency,
winning.
Johnny. That's it. My only
The
concern
thing
is
with
with him is
Pogba is, yeah,
consistency.
if we get him, I feel like we're gonna have to sacrifice a Kante or a Havertz, because unless you want to play a diamond, I think Pogba, yeah, for France he can play in two DMs with Kante, but he normally gets going for these international tournaments, and that's like what, 8 games, and he's probably gonna play 6 of them, or probably get rotated for one of them. But I feel like Tuchel probably want a DM like he had Marquinhos, where probably sits deep, can protect the back line, and can also play with the ball. And I feel like Pogba offers much more, because if he's next to Kante, and if we want to see the best of Kante, then we need someone who's a sitter, who's going to sit to let Kante get the ball. So I feel like Pogba, like we've seen it with Kovacic and Kante, they both want the ball and they're both runners. They're both not sitters. And Pogba will probably he can sit, yeah, but he can offer a lot more than just sitting in between the two centre backs and staying back. Like a lot of United fans don't like him in a double pivot for a reason. So I think it'd definitely be great to have in the squad, and I think he'd walk into our team because he's a great player. But I think we have to sacrifice someone.
Yeah, I mean, I just think if you're going to try and sign someone like Pogba, this is the best time to try and sign him. If Tuchel would want him,
You think Pogba would come to us though? Because I could see him going back to Italy.
I think he's done Italy twice now. I don't think he needs to go Italy. I think he'll want a Real Madrid. He'll want Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid or Barcelona, either of those two.
Yeah, but Madrid are going to be too focused on trying to get Haaland first of all.
Well, they won't be able to get both, that's for sure.
But oh my days, if we get
for Haaland,
they don't need
Haaland would make sense because they still need a couple years to build their side, and they're still in transition. They're getting rid of the old greats, and they're trying to replace them with new ones, and that's very hard to do, as we all know. With losing Terry's, Lampard's, and Drogba's, your whole backbone, and trying to reinstill that is not easy, and could take more than 2 years. You know,
the biggest problem with Pogba
basically, like what Johnny says, it's like both Barcelona and Real Madrid are in transition. So
we've been in transition for a while since Hazard. Even when Hazard was with us that last season, since then to now, you've seen how long it's taken. You've seen how long it takes to find players, buy them, get them in the club, to then instill them into the system. We've changed managers in that process. You know, Real Madrid will change Zidane. I mean, they're going to have to. They're going to have to, because they need someone who can bring through youth as well, because they've got a great youth program. Barcelona the same. So is Pogba going to go there thinking, oh, I'm definitely going to go and challenge for La Liga and for Champions League? I'm not so sure. I think if he's going to go into any team, you know, you're looking at your Cities, your Bayern Munichs, and your Chelseas right now, who have got talent, you know, good fresh talent, mixed with experience, and he can walk into pretty much any team. So it's up to him.
You see the problem with Pogba is I feel like our biggest problem with Pogba will probably be Mino Raiola, because Tuchel would probably, I don't think he'll play him every game, and I think Mino Raiola probably won't accept that Pogba might be rotated in games, and he'll fuel up stuff, and then he might get into a fallout with the club. So I think, that's the thing in it, and I don't think like Kante's got one more very good season in him. I think if we bring in a sitter before he's past his best for me, and I think
I can't lie.
If Pogba wins a Europa, guys, if United win the Europa, Pogba will more than likely stay. If they don't win anything this year and they just get top 4 again, I think he's going to be asking serious questions about what the ambition of the club is, because he wants to win things, man. He's world class, isn't he?
Yeah, Pogba's a great player.
Yeah,
Pogba.
It's just the way that they're using him
Yeah,
probably in the wrong
they
way
don't.
as well.
Yeah, they don't know how to use
But
him.
if we get Pogba, like I would never be complaining. Like, bro,
Yeah.
like especially because next season will probably be like challenging for stuff, and Pogba will probably feel more motivated. And if he has players like Pulisic, Adoy, Kante winning the ball back for him, a top striker that hopefully we get, and a good defense behind him, he's gonna be motivated to do things. And a happy Pogba is I think one of the best midfielders in the world because a lot of people disrespect Paul Pogba, but bro, when Paul Pogba is on it, which he can be under a good manager, and when he's motivated, bro, it's different.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. But let's go back into the subject more. Let's talk about Sergio Aguero. First off, Fata, we haven't heard your thoughts. So talk to me about Aguero and what you're feeling. As short-term option, or do you want to see him actually be our main choice up front?
You have to look at the objective on us as well from the Aguero's point of view. In Aguero's case, yeah, he's been over here for about what, almost 10 years. He's also about 32 right now. He's got a few years left before he retire, before he hang up his boot. I fully agree. Like, if we don't get Haaland, from the board's point of view, we might get we're gonna have to get a backup plan like Aguero and that. I fully understand it, but my preference is, Lewis, I just think Aguero want to go somewhere else apart from England to spend few years left of his career before he hung up his boots. So I'm not seeing him as a long-term option there.
No. No one says a long-term option. But what would you feel about him for a season? And would you want to see Giroud leave? Would you want to see Giroud and Tammy leave and us go for another striker? What are you feeling?
For a season, yeah, if we finish it very well, like up above our expectation this season, I don't mind him for a season, just because we all know Giroud's gonna leave soon in the summer. I don't think we're gonna hold on to Tammy because Tammy want to get a game time under his belt, and he hasn't got it that way. And if Aguero wants to come here just for a couple of seasons, just to help out this team with a couple of trophies, I don't mind. But again, Lewis, like if I have to choose like as a backup plan, I don't mind with Aguero anyway in the short term. So,
But do you think if we did buy Aguero, right, because of the experience he gives, do you think he could, and we don't get a Haaland, so we go through the season with a Tammy, a Werner, and an Aguero? Do you think that's enough, the way we're playing now, to actually challenge and go for winning a title? Just for next season, though. Just as a one season with Aguero. Do you think he's good enough? Do you think we could keep him fit to do that?
That's a hard question to ask because, again, with Aguero, he's this season as well, Johnny. If you look at Aguero's performance today, he hasn't played a lot, though. I think he's more injury prone as well, and he has been sustained that injury in his knee for a while. And I'm still unsure if Aguero, like, in terms of squad depth, I don't have a problem with that. But for one season, yeah, I don't mind at all, Johnny. Any my preference, yeah, I don't mind at all. It's just the fact that for me, what I'm scared about is Aguero is, injury. That's only my concern. In terms of signing him like for a season, I don't mind at all. My concern is
that's why he can't be a first-term option for us. He has to be he has to be a squad player if he joins us. He can't be starting every match.
No, he can't be starting now.
But if you buy Kane, Kane is injured every season, guaranteed he's out, isn't he? He might not be out as much, but he's out. Like you have to, accept that you might go a quarter of the season without a Harry Kane. But we say if you buy a Harry Kane, that'll win you the league. So Aguero's played in the Premiership, if not longer. He's won it all. If you keep him fit and you keep Harry Kane fit, is that not the same sort of level we're talking?
No,
to be fair,
yeah.
yeah.
Go on, Caleb.
I'm thinking, yeah.
I'll let everyone answer first.
Go on, Caleb.
with Aguero's past his prime. With Kane is in his prime right now. So him getting injured when he gets back he doesn't need as many games as Aguero to get back into form because he's in his prime. He just needs a game or two to just get back into the mix of things. With Aguero, you can see with him right now, he just gets that odd 15 minutes, and you can see he's well out of it. Well out of it. So I feel like comparing how old is Kane? 27?
29-ish.
28.
28,
Comparing
29.
to a 32-year-old who's having knee problems and has massively lost his speed with it, and putting him into a team that requires speed and fluidity, it's gonna be a massive problem. I'd rather Kane who can play at least a false nine position, switch up with someone, and he could be the creator-like player. Other than Aguero even it would even affect his poaching abilities in a way. So I feel like it would be better to get. Huh?
Do we not feel that Havertz is the guy then? Because false nine wise, I think he's unbelievable, Kai Havertz. So if we don't get Haaland, and we say we're not going to go for Lukaku because he's not really worth the money, because he'll be 20 going on 29, and then we're going to have to look at replacing and spend another 100 million on another striker, whoever that will be in 2-3 years. So they might look at it as like, well, Havertz can play false nine, but we'll have an Aguero to throw in the mix as a squad player. Is that
to me, I think Aguero, if we get Aguero, if we get Aguero as a third choice to second choice striker, I'm not pushing to get Aguero, and if he doesn't come, I don't really care. But if he does, I don't even mind it too much. We got him as like a third choice striker, and he played like the League Cup games and the FA Cup games, and then you had players like Werner in the second team as well, and like I don't know, other wingers. And
you're referring to
Aguero was just told, wait.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and then you just had Aguero in the box for them games, and then let everyone else do the creativity, and then his job was just to finish in that game. And bear in mind, we're not going to have to press in those games as well, because we're going to come up against teams who are going to play in a low block because they don't want to leave themselves open. So he won't even have to do that much running. Then I wouldn't be against it too much.
So in terms of Ryan's cases there, Lewis, it's more to like, I think Ryan's referring to the fact that we want Aguero to be like a Giroud type of player. Like, it's more of a super sub type of player because I think
that'll be the main plan for him.
Yeah, I can't see him fully in the first team lineups team sheet like every week. I just can't see him. But as an impact player, he might do well, Lewis, because he's got that ability to do that, and also the stats though it's already explained by itself though, Lewis. But yeah.
Go on, Daniel. What were you gonna say? Go on, Daniel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this doesn't motivate me.
Big up, Daniel.
What's up, man? It doesn't motivate me because when we've signed strikers, that not necessarily older strikers, right? Because Giroud came in when he was over 30. But when they have injury problems and we're trying to kind of pull that greatness out of them, it never really works. I don't know. It was like when Falcao came here, right? It was excellent strikers, older. We felt like he could be a good third.
Man said Falcao.
Yeah, man. Falcao was one of the best strikers in the world, right? But we thought he could do. He had injuries. Same thing Aguero had. This is the first time he's been out for this long because he was out for like a year, right? So this is the first time because he's always out, but he's out for a couple months and then he's back. But now he's over 30. He's 33 and he's out for 8 months, 9 months. I don't think it's a good move.
Even for a year though, Daniel. Like, you just take him for a year if the wages are reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we use it more sparingly, it'd be a good option.
Could
I say something?
Because I guess the conversation was like, if we can get Haaland or something, would you be okay with the Aguero for 1 year? And that's for me. That's no. For one, if he's a third choice, meaning we got a Lukaku and him, yeah, I'm definitely for that. You know, I don't mind him being a third choice, but having him as the main striker for 1 year or as the main backup for Havertz for 1 year, I don't know.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a bit unreliable.
Solely rely on him at any point. I don't want to be able to do that.
Yeah,
He should be an asset.
It's more
more
to like
pressure on Havertz.
it's more to like we're gonna rely on him in like close games, especially that Boxing Day matches, like where he could come on and you know like play about 90 minutes because that Boxing Day slot's like really tight. So like I think in our case it's like we got that 26th December always the traditional Boxing Day, and then the 28th December. You never know. We might play next season like 26th December. Then eventually, like we're gonna play again in 2 days' time. So it's more to like rotational purposes. So yeah, Lewis, I don't mind at all, man. I don't mind at all.
I don't even mind.
See, my ideal scenario, yeah. My ideal scenario.
Wait, one at a time. Go on, Daniel.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even mind him just being in the squad in terms of his experience, just his high level, right? Because he's been there, he's won everything for the most part. Just having that type of striker around, you know, the likes of Havertz and Werner and the rest of them can definitely help. You know, because we see what Thiago Silva, his mentality, his influence, his leadership has done, even when he's not playing, right? Because we know he's definitely helped. 100% helped Christensen, 100% helped, you know, all these other defenders who we weren't really sure of. And now he hasn't played in 3 months or 2 months, and, you know, we're still looking really, really good. So that kind of influence could definitely help, right? Because he's the top of the top. So having him in there, just helping the boys out, even if he doesn't really play, I think it's good.
I agree, Daniel, because in the final third it's like we struggled in defence and we got Thiago Silva, and like you said, I agree, and that could be the same for up front. Like we need someone in amongst the Havertz, the Werners, the Doys and Pulisic's who can offer and show them new things, new mentality. And I think it's worth it just for the year. Or I mean, the thing is, we know as Chelsea Football Club, they're not going to offer him 3-4 year deal.
Yeah,
so
probably 2 years.
It's going to be like a 1 year with maybe an option of a second year, like they've done with Thiago.
Yeah.
So I'm down for it. Like, but
I think an ideal thing for us, like say we moved on Tammy and Giroud, and then what's it called? And then we got a Haaland, and then we got an Aguero. I think Haaland would be first choice. We could play Havertz as a number 10 behind him, have our two wingers. And then I wouldn't even have Aguero as a second choice. I'd just keep one as a second choice coming off the bench. And then when you have them League Cup games, FA Cup games, and games where you need to rotate, you can play Aguero there where you just want him in the box, and you can let Werner and everyone else in that rotation squad do the running for him and create the chances. And his job is just to finish. So I wouldn't even want him as a second choice. As a third choice, though, I wouldn't mind it too much.
So would you keep him second choice for the year?
How many strikers are you thinking of there? How many players do you think will be in that spot next year? Do you think Giroud will still be there or will be gone? Or do you think Abraham will still be there and we don't get Haaland or Lukaku?
It could be either of. Like, I think Giroud goes regardless before the summer's over because he's only really stayed here to guarantee that he goes to the Euros. After that, I think he'll be gone. Tammy Abraham, depends on if he re-signs. If he doesn't re-sign, he's probably gone in the summer. If he does re-sign, maybe he goes on loan for a year. Or maybe he stays with the squad as well. I think if Aguero comes in
Tammy would take
and another striker, Tammy has to go as well. We only start the season with 3 strikers. So it depends on who the strikers are for me. The only one that guarantees to stay is Timo Werner.
I think we'll get rid of Giroud and Tammy, and then I think we're gonna get an Aguero. I don't know. I just have a funny feeling we're gonna get an Aguero for a free because I feel like the club will just see it as low risk, 1 year here. He's a good finisher, and they'll probably be like, let's just bring him in anyways, and I'll probably think low risk, low reward. And then I feel like, I don't know the first choice striker we're gonna get, but I think we're gonna keep Werner and Aguero, and then I think we're gonna get like a main man up top, but I don't know who that is yet.
You've got to go for Haaland.
I'm hoping it's Lukaku.
Yeah. Priority.
Lukaku,
Plan
well.
is Haaland. It's Haaland or Lukaku. Plan A is Haaland though.
Look at the thing with
Honestly-
Raiola going around the whole of Europe, and you think we're gonna get Haaland on the cheap? There's no chance.
No.
Yeah.
chance.
I don't. But Lewis, I don't think the money really. It's not a big issue.
Yeah.
No,
Like-
it's not about spending them. And to be honest, I think if we're trying to get a winger, a centre back, and a DM as well, I do think 150 million is going to be a big thing to ask for one player in specifics. But same way with that, I'm also talking about the things that surround that transfer as well. A player coming in at the age of 20 years, coming to the Premier League, and he has to hit the ground running immediately. If he doesn't, everyone's on his arse, and so will the fans too, because we would have spent 300 million and we aren't title contenders. I think we need someone with more experience. That's
Do you not
my
feel?
worry.
Could I?
Lewis,
Could
are
I?
you
feel like-
not confident
I
though?
don't think-
Yeah.
could I add on
Are you not
something
confident, Lewis,
about
with
the Haaland
with
thing?
Tuchel though?
Go
With
on.
the fact that are you not confident though that Tuchel will make it work? Like we won't have that issue of like getting Haaland to settle in and all that. I think if Haaland
nah.
comes, I think Tuchel's got it. He'll ease him in how.
No, but here's
he
the
did
thing.
with Havertz.
We use that same sort of debate for Timo Werner as well, and we still only had one goal from him since Tuchel's joined. That's why it's like, no. Like, I could see Haaland adapt to the Premier League in time, and I do think if he was in the Premier League for 5 years, he'd end up being probably the best player in the league by year 3, maybe even earlier. But I think Chelsea, they need something instant. They need an instant impact, and I don't think Erling Haaland gives you that.
But
And
do
for
you-
150 million, he has to
Go
do
on,
that.
Johnny.
Lewis,
Anthony?
do you think that it like we've not had to rely on Werner's goals? We're still where we are, and like we all know, if we did start the season under Tuchel, the chances are we'd be top of the table in the current form we're in, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like we've had to depend on a particular striker or position bagging us 20, 25 goals, because that's not been the case. We're still winning games, and we're not having to rely on Pulisic. We're not having to rely on Werner as such, or Havertz, because they've all been in and out. Everyone's sort of contributed. Now, I feel like you bring in a Haaland, I don't think, obviously the pressure's there. That goes without saying. I mean, you've got that price tag on you. That's pressure instantly. But I think he's got mentality to do it, to come here. The Premier League will suit him. Every player needs to adapt. It doesn't matter who you are, you need to adapt. So, yeah, I accept we're going to have to wait for him to adapt. But we don't have to just rely on Haaland, because all of our other players...
We don't have to, but for 150 million, he has to have that impact. That's the
think he
thing.
will.
150 million on one player.
Yeah, but he will,
But
Lewis. He will. And
I feel like that's just hope. I really feel like it's just hope.
But
Nah.
could I say something about
we could
Haaland?
say
Go
we could say that with Havertz, 80 million, and he's hardly featured this whole first half of the season, and now we're starting to see him sort of.
But with
just settled
Havertz,
in.
there was other issues with that. Like, we're not saying Haaland's going to come in and catch the virus too, are we?
No,
Yeah.
true, but he still struggled to adapt, doesn't he? Havertz, either way you look
Yeah,
at
see,
it.
but
the
I
thing
feel
is,
like
Lewis,
that's the thing. It's going to happen to all Bundesliga players.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea will just go for a. I think we're gonna get a DM, and you can get a DM on the cheap, and then I think we'll just get Haaland. I think we're gonna be playing a way more expansive style of football, and Haaland will be getting a lot more chances as well. So, and Haaland's conversion rate is something stupid as well.
But
Can I say something about Haaland?
Ryan, I
Yeah.
think I understand what Lewis's point is. It's not about his talent level or if he can get chances and score. It's, you're 20 years old coming to Chelsea for 150 million. You're not going to have that time, regardless of what we can say right now and try to say. You are not going to have that time. You have probably 5, 6,
Nah,
7.
I don't think he's gonna need time though.
Yeah.
I think he'll
Yeah, we can. I heard that about Werner as well. I heard he wasn't going to need time. I heard certain players were going to come in and just completely take over, which is what we need now.
but the bottom line,
Right.
lads, is whether we like it or not, Tuchel knows what he's got to do. He has next season, whether you buy Haaland or not, whatever you spend, or if you don't spend, they expect Tuchel to go and win that Premiership next season. So
Exactly.
you bring a Haaland, you bring a Lukaku, you bring an Aguero, whoever the hell it is. He knows what his job is. So he will. I don't doubt from what I've seen, the credentials that this guy's got and what he's achieved. I don't doubt for 1 second that whether a Haaland comes or a Lukaku comes, the target, the objective does not change, and Tuchel's mentality is not going to change. He will make it work. He will get whatever he needs out of them. If they're not adjusting or they need to be eased in, he won't play them. Whether you're a £150 million striker or not, and the way he'll get away with it is, I'm getting results. So
yeah, no, Johnny, but that you're 100% right on that. That wouldn't change the fact that it could affect Haaland to a different way, not producing at 150 million. Let's take a look at Felix, right? When Felix went to Madrid last season, he was the highest highest transfer fee for a teenager, right? It was like 130 million.
No, Mbappe was.
Mbappe was?
Okay,
Mbappe was, yeah.
Mbappe was 180. Yeah, he was 130, which is about around the same price Haaland will probably go for. And he went to Atletico, and he hasn't adapted fully. He has some good games here. He's dropped for 3 games here. He comes back in. He doesn't really play. Frankie de Jong, he went to Barcelona. Right, he still hasn't fully adapted. They're not sure what to play him as an attacking mid, as a defensive mid. Do we drop Busquets for him? Right, the Ligt took half a season to even adapt when he went to Juve, and he wasn't needed. Right, at a 20-year-old, this is all the other 20-year-olds that are top players that everybody thinks is going to be the best players in the world, and they've struggled.
Yeah, but Daniel, look at Haaland, bro. He's gone from one league.
Johnny.
Go on.
My whole thing is this: I can't put that pressure on a 20-year-old to expect him to come in and be the main guy. And I'm saying that pressure is going to be there. It's going to be there because Tuchel has to win next season. That's the mandate for him. So
the pressure's there. The
and
pressure
this
will
is the
be
thing as well. Like Kevin, big up for the donation as well, because he's putting the point here. It says Timo's problem isn't adapting; it's scoring sitters. Haaland can finish with his eyes closed. What makes you think he would struggle so much? Here's the thing: where was Werner more clinical in the Bundesliga, a much more open league? Where is Haaland being more clinical right now, the Bundesliga in an open league? What are they both going to struggle with? Low blocks, and this is what I'm worried about. This is why, he will finish his chances. I'm sure, even Haaland in the Premier League, if you give him a chance in space, he will put the ball in the back of the net, fine. But that's what's comfortable for him.
What about Champions League?
Taken out of his comfort zone.
Giving me hope about Haaland.
He's done it in Champions League, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's European. That's also open as well. Premier League, half the division plays low blocks. This 80%. Is where the question is.
I understand 80%.
And also, I don't see him drag a team. Like, look at Norway's last 3 games on international duty. He hasn't even scored yet in any of them. And he was pocketed in nearly every
team's dead. That whole team's dead.
But this is my point. 150 million for a player, he still needs to have impact. I'm not seeing impact, which is why I'm seeing question marks. 150 million, he has to be the best player in the squad walking into the team.
All right.
I feel like he's been Dortmund's best player this season. Because with the severe games, he was the one that was scoring. He scored all 4 goals. Other than that, Dortmund weren't creating anything. They were dead. It was only him that was the thing.
But it's also been creative.
But do you risk, guys? Do you risk not, missing on Haaland? And Haaland goes to a Real Madrid or a Barca, argument's sake, he goes there. You know what they're going to do. They're going to put like a stupid 400 million buyout clause in the contract. And that's it. You're done. No one's going to buy Haaland. No one's going to be able to buy Haaland. So it's like, do you just take that risk and go, I want this player because I know what he can become. And if I have to wait, and I'm not so dependent this year.
But Johnny, there's a lot of fans out there that are not patient. That's
Yeah,
the
but
thing with
forget the
Chelsea.
fans.
It's
The
instant.
fans have got
It's
no
instant
choice.
impact or you're gone.
Yeah, but
That's
at the end of the day, right? Everyone can rant on about Werner right now,
Yeah.
but the guy's going to be there next year. You can scream blue murder all you want as a fan, but it ain't going to change the fact that Werner's there next year.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I don't care about that. I think it's in business terms and footballing terms, it's a win-win. Whether you need a bit of time or not, it's a win-win. But you
Mhm.
let him go, to even a City or a Real Madrid, and we're all going to see what we could have had, and that's going to hurt, like we did with Aguero. It's gonna be that situation. I get we want instant success, but we've got a squad right now with a top manager who potentially, with the squad he's got now, could get us. He could win us the league this year if he started potentially. So why can't he do it next year? You know,
Johnny, I feel like the problem here is basically Chelsea. Chelsea is not known for being patient. It's better with a Man City because they have a settled coach there and a settled team. They'll give whatever the manager needs, and then they'll give him the time. You see, with Pep, they got Gabriel Jesus, and then maybe he didn't play that well the first season, but they didn't berate Gabriel Jesus. They just waited
No,
for him
but the
to
thing is,
grow.
though, with Man City, you have De Bruyne who feeds you on the plate. He puts a ball in, and all you have to do is tap it in or put
but
a
guys,
Yeah,
you're
but
missing
lock
the
it in.
still, he's
point.
in an environment that's allowing him to
You're
grow,
you're
other
you're
and
you're
patiently grow, other than Chelsea,
you're
whereby
you're
everything
missing
has to
my
be in an
point though,
instant.
bro. My point is they will go and buy the Haaland because if Tuchel doesn't win next year, he's got an 18-month contract. He's out the door. That means you bring in a new manager. But
Hmm.
that new manager is going to have to come in and do what Tuchel's just come in to do and use and basically utilize the players that he's been given. And one of those
No,
players will be a Haaland.
mhm.
And that's
No,
the
I
bottom line.
understand your
The
point.
players stay longer than the manager. So in the club's view, we're investing in the players because they're the ones that
Mhm.
make us the most money.
True. I think
So
I was coming from the point of from Lewis and Daniel because they're complaining about that we can't offer them the patience that they need. I understand your point in that Haaland will come here and the managers are disposable, but still the fan base won't be as patient as maybe us few will be. You see that's the problem. Sure we want Haaland. He can come in, but he won't be given the time that he needs. That's the thing.
yeah, but
Johnny,
even if he
Johnny, here's where
guys, and time is on Haaland's side. Regardless, it will be he's going to have. You spend that much money, you're going to give him 2 years minimum. You're going to give him 2 years. Werner's going to have 2 years. I mean, that's just like the
Hmm.
going rate. I mean, the fans have to lump it. We all have to lump it. We're not in control of the club, so I don't care what fans say. Like they were all, every fan when we signed Werner were loving him up, gassed as hell. All right,
Overhyping.
overhyping, loving Werner. Right, the guy's
And
struggling,
talented moves
and
and such.
they've all turned their back on him, going, "Hey, shit, we should sell him. We should sell him." You can't be like that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're there to support your club and your players, and you have to support everyone, not just the ones that your little favourites. You have to support everyone collectively. If Haaland comes in, we support him. If he doesn't turn
Mm,
up for half the season, he's a 20-year-old kid, man. It's not his fault. He's got a
mm.
150
But
pound,
Johnny, could I
150
Um,
also
but
say
million
something?
tag on him.
also, can
Could
I
I
can I
also
add to
say
that as
something?
well? Can I add
Right.
to that
Well,
as
go on,
well?
Hassan.
I was gonna say signing Haaland would be like we've seen what happened when we signed Kepa. Frank never used him. His market value plummeted, and Kepa was one of the main reasons why he got sacked. All I'm gonna say, there's a lot of. Oh, sorry about the background noise. Cars ripping it. So I was gonna say that there's going to be a lot of political power when Haaland gets signed. Say, for example, he's on a bad form, hypothetically, Tuchel wants to rest him. The board could turn around and say, well, his market value is dropping, so start him. And my problem is, if we sign him, he could also be one of the reasons why Tuchel will get sacked if he doesn't hit the ground running.
If Tuchel doesn't
Sure.
want him, if Tuchel says to Roman, you don't need to spend 150 million. I don't need Haaland. I can make do with this player or that player, or he might have an alternative. But Roman will say, I want this player. If he wants him because he thinks he's the next best biggest thing, he's going to want him, like he did with Torres and Shevchenko. It's gonna be that whole story again.
Johnny,
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of political power sign.
But Tuchel will make it work. I think he will make it
We
work.
can't.
We've seen.
We don't know that, Johnny. We don't know if he's going to make it work. And if he, so my fear is this, right? If you get Haaland and Haaland doesn't hit the ground running, you're most likely going to lose a few of those other young players that haven't developed yet if they don't hit the ground running. So if Pulisic doesn't hit the ground running next season, or potentially even Havertz. Remember what happened when we had Mata, Oscar, Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Salah. Like, you had a plethora of just talent under 23 in one team. We had to sell some of them. You're going to lose out. You're going to lose a Salah, lose a KDB to have Fabregas come in and actually win for 2 seasons. You're going to lose a Lukaku to have Costa come in and win for a couple seasons. So that's going to happen when you have the only player who ended up staying was Hazard. From that lot of 5, really talented young players under 23. And now we have the exact same thing. We have Pulisic, Mount, Callum, Havertz, all under 23, right? Still, none of them are at the world class level, right? None of them yet. So you bring Haaland, that's 5 players, and you have to win. So Haaland is going to stay, definitely. One of the rest is going to leave.
But my thing is, Daniel, my thing is, if we don't get Haaland, we're going to get, the second option is going to be Lukaku. And Inter Milan, how much do you think they'll sell us?
They'll want 100 million for him.
I saw 120 million.
I watch Lukaku, and I could say based on his performances and his value is going to be about 90 to 100, maybe.
Yeah.
So 90
Based
to
on his
100 million.
performances,
And he's at least Premier League proven. And can do it against low blocks as well, because all United fans said was that he could only do it against the small teams. We need someone that can unlock low blocks, and he can do it. And he's also the same way. You give him a chance, he will put into the back of the net. That's the same with
He's a bit
Haaland.
like Costa. He's a bit like Costa, but without the touch.
Yeah, and he will age well too. Like, I'm worried about him aging early, but he'll age perfectly because he's got the build for it. He'd be like an Olivier Giroud. I just want to see what his link-up play would be like and how much it's improved.
So Lewis,
Do
would you
you
spend
guys
100 million
honestly
on
don't
Lukaku?
think though, if we bought Haaland, do you not think that we would challenge though?
You're mad.
Like, do you not think
Not really, because he'd have to adapt. And I don't think he's going to do that immediately. That's my
100
problem.
M's on Lukaku.
Well, it's 100 million on Lukaku is a lot for me. That's a lot of
But
money.
we've got the
It is,
chance
but I
to
feel like he's going to have more of
finally
an instant impact, which is what makes it more worth it to me.
But I could see Lukaku being more of a flop than Haaland.
We've got a chance to sign
I
a
don't
striker.
see Haaland being a flop either. I just think Haaland would need more patience than he'd get given for that sort of price tag. That's my worry.
But Lukaku would still have to come into a system like Tuchel, which is complete opposite to Conte. So he's still going to need to adapt to that system. So either way, Lukaku
but at least he understands Premier League football.
Yeah,
I get that in terms of adapting to a different system. I understand that. That's something we'd have to address as well. But I feel like he'd assimilate a lot more quicker than Haaland would.
maybe to the physicality and the way the league is and the brutality of the league. Okay, but
And the intensity.
But Haaland also, you've got to remember, in one season he's gone from one club to another, and
But it's
from
the
a lesser
Austrian
league
league
to
to the German league.
I
innit?
know, but it still says a lot about your character and your mentality. I mean, he's still bagged goals, man. Like, there's not many players you can say that
I know, but
midway
it's
through.
easy to do it in the Bundesliga, though. It is so open. Like, Alcacer went in there and got 18 goals in the season. Michy Batshuayi went there and averaged a goal a game. Like, I'll be real, Bundesliga, top 5 leagues in Europe, cool. But I'm only taking it with a pinch of salt when it comes to attackers.
You know what, Lewis? I completely
What about
forgot
10
he
goals
went
in the
for-
Champions League?
Hold on,
10 goals
I
in 6
completely
games.
forgot
Bro,
he went for
we're
half the
spoken
season.
about the Champions
No,
League, but
but
that don't mean too much for me. It's about what you
Could
can
I-
do in
could
the
I also
Premier
say
League
something?
first.
Yeah, I agree with Lewis. Yeah.
You're playing more
So
Premier League
Champions-
games than Champions League games.
Yeah,
Champions
Lewis,
League
I just expect to hear, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of low blocks here. He hasn't figured it out. He hasn't adapted yet. He hasn't this and that. And that's expected for a 20-year-old to come into a brand new league. Like Lewis said, it's probably going to take him 3 years to be the top striker that he has to be, right? And nobody here thinks Chelsea's going to wait three years. And my point is this, to back up Johnny. Yeah, if he comes for that price, he's not going to leave. He will stay. But 100%, because we will have to win in those 3 years, one of the others is going to leave for a more experienced, more like, you know, finished player. Because if you're not getting a finished striker now, right? You're going to have to get.
My thing is,
If we're still struggling next season, it's
too good.
It's going to be like
Ronaldo.
Haaland
He's
and
too-
KDB leaving and Lukaku leaving. It's going to be just like that.
Go, what was the end of that?
I said it's going to be like when we had Lukaku leaving and KDB leaving, all those players leaving, because when we had to win, we had to.
They weren't at that point yet.
Yeah, we had to give up
Yeah,
someone.
but so
right?
who's those players, Daniel? Like, give me an example in our current squad now. Are you saying Pulisic? Are you saying Adoy? Are these those type of players?
Yes,
right, but-
Hudson-Odoi.
But I don't think we'll sell. That we'll never move them on. The only reason we'll sell Pulisic is probably because of injury reasons. If he keeps getting injured, but Adoy, there's no way Adoy's moving.
Johnny,
Like-
we sold KDB and Salah, man.
Yeah,
Who
but
what?
back then, look at the
Salah
team
wasn't
we had
even
back
all
then.
that at the time.
Back then,
Oh, yeah,
then
he
we had
he was.
we had
He
Diego
destroyed us in that Champions
Costas
League
and
game.
we had big
Apparently,
players,
they
man.
called him like the Egyptian Messi in training, so this
No,
is
he's-
just another Mourinho howler.
It is a Mourinho house.
Yeah, because you get that pressure to win. He came in and he was like, I need to win right now. So KDB out, Fabregas in. Because I need to win now. And if you
But
waited
that's the
just
thing
2
with
years,
every manager too, and that's half the reason why they struggle. Because we're Chelsea, we're ruthless. We will sack managers if they're not reaching their target, and the next
Right.
manager will come in with the immediate task of getting us to that Premier League title. And if they don't get us to that, they're getting sacked as well. Which is also why patience don't really work for us, because we're Chelsea and we've never been patient. And we tried that with Frank Lampard, and look how long it lasted. So I'm not going for a failed thing again. We need the finished product, because that's the way Chelsea have always been.
I think Haaland, you get him, you just buy him, man. And if you have to wait a bit, you wait a bit. But our other players playing with him, they'll be settled. They'll deliver. Look at us now. We're not even firing now, and we are fourth. We are, after a very difficult start, we are where we are. And arguably, we could have been a lot further
I
ahead.
know, but Werner only costs 48 million, and look at all the slander he's getting.
But next season, I think Werner's going to come good. I think he's going to adapt.
Johnny, you think every player is coming good, bro?
No. I don't say that with every player. Look, there's only one player. There's one player that's 100% entitled and rightfully to be in the side next year in that first 11, and that's Mason Mount. Everyone else has to prove to Tuchel. Yeah. Everyone else has to prove to Tuchel that they're worth to be in that first 11. Because right now, all these places are up for grabs. Left backs, right backs, centre backs.
Actually, I will say
deep
two
holding
players.
midfielders.
Yes, get out.
The striking positions, the winger positions, they're all up for grabs. Tuchel could easily turn around and go, yeah, let's trade him for him and him for him. But Mason Mount, no, you don't do that with Mount. And that says everything you need to know.
But you see, the thing is with Haaland, yeah,
And he's 22.
my stance on Haaland, yeah, is that I feel like, yeah, I just don't think we can miss out on this guy, and I feel like Roman will feel the same, because if we don't get him now, this is our chance to finally get a striker that's going to sort us for the next 4 to 5 years before he moves. And I think Roman will accept that, even if he doesn't,
I feel like
You're disconnect. Please disconnect.
5 years.
Wait. Ryan, did disconnect. I can't hear you.
Yeah, Ryan, your connection's moving a bit buggy. Jump back out and jump back in, G.
Lewis, can I
Yeah,
say?
I
to
just,
four
I
years.
just,
I think Lukaku as well. Like he could last 4 to 5 years at Chelsea. Like I don't know why everyone's thinking he's going to drop off just like that.
But
As I already said, even when he ages, he'll age like a fine wine. So I don't see why we can't think of Lukaku the same way we could think of an Erling Haaland.
But Lewis, if he's only going to be here for 3 to 4 years, because people are thinking he comes here and he has a good 3 to 4 years and then he leaves, so goes to Madrid or Barca or something. If that's the case, then Lukaku has to be the only choice. Because my opinion is it's going to take him 2 to 3 years to even get to the level that he needs to get at the Premier League level. So we've wasted 2 or 3 years. We have him for a couple seasons and then he leaves. While Lukaku, if Lukaku comes, it's my belief that we'll win a couple titles in the next couple years, 4 years. I think we can win two and 4. That's the level I think he's at.
But what I'm
But
gonna say to that is, if we win trophies, I'm not bothered if Haaland leaves as long as he wins his trophies. And don't forget, with Haaland, you can recoup some of that money back, if not make profit. With Lukaku, you can't really say in 3 to 4 years you'll make that money back.
You won't make anywhere near that. And Chelsea look at it as a business. They're buying another player that they let go. All right, it's a bad image again. For me, they go and buy Haaland. He's 20 years old. Even when he's 24, 25, he's still not even in his prime, and you're selling for
Isn't
a lot
Haaland's
of money.
agent in England now?
Yeah,
His
he's
agent is
Yeah.
in Manchester.
He's meeting up with all the
Manchester
English
or-
clubs, apart from C, I think, and United.
Kante, the only Chelsea absentee.
Yeah, he's missing Porto.
One will start. But you see, the thing with Haaland is, I feel like Roman will feel like that if he doesn't get him now, then you might not find a striker like Haaland for a couple of years, and he wants that striker
Yeah, I
that's
think
in the bag 20 to 25, and he feel like he can't miss out. So he knows that even if Haaland doesn't hit the ground running, and even if he doesn't, he'll probably still bag goals. That he's
There's
still
gonna
got
be-
a striker that's gonna sort him.
He'll score
Ryan,
goals, guys.
This is my message. This is my message to
He'll
all
definitely break
the
the bank
fans,
for him.
right? All the fans who have an anxiety because he's a generational talent and we'll never see a striker like him. Yes, we will. A couple years ago, when Mbappe was going, I had no clue who Haaland was. He came out of nowhere.
True.
And in the same way, that's going to happen. It's going to be, Haaland and Mbappe are the next things. And you're going to get...
You know what that is? Yeah, do you know what that
Come
is? Do you know what that is, Daniel? Yeah, I've spoken to Lawrence about last night. Big up to Lawrence, by the way. I've spoken to Lawrence about, the mindset of young generation fan base towards our, like, maybe arguably like towards all the players like in the world, including Haaland and Mbappe, and that. I just think, like, I just think it's like when you're in the stream, like especially right now in the stream, I think what's driven to, if it might sound political, but I just think again, if Haaland do signs for Chelsea, like my only concern is like it only takes one player like to perform really bad and just starting the hatred again towards our player. If he signs for Chelsea, that's my concern. If one of our signings next season coming to Chelsea, and the fact that we're dealing with this about Timo Werner having him receiving lots of abusing towards him after that mess against North Macedonia, and I think again it's just.
I wouldn't even be surprised.
You know
if
what?
Message
You know
leaves.
what, Fato? Yeah, the fan base. I don't pay attention to fan base. Like I got my circle, and that's that. But as for the whole fan base, they've been slandering Mason Mount for how many years, and he's been our best player, right? Okay, and Werner has been way worse. Okay, and he's not been slandered nowhere near as much as Mason Mount. So even if a player's doing fantastic, they still slander him regardless. That's just the way our fan base is toxic. They don't appreciate
some of our
top
fan base,
talent.
but not a whole.
A large percentage though, they will still hate on Mason Mount, even though he's been our best player. By clear, it's miles. There's no comparison.
I get that. And that's also a factor. How is Haaland? I'm pretty sure he's loved in Dortmund, right? Like all the fans love him, and he's probably getting just loving messages, even from other fans from different clubs who actually want him there. And then you come to Chelsea and you have a couple bad games and you miss a couple goals, and now you have to turn your social media off or turn your comments off. It can affect him differently. But again, just besides
that's the nature of being in a big
Haaland's
club.
mentality.
That's the nature of being in a big club.
no, I definitely agree.
Look at Vardy. Like, I'll give you an example with Vardy, right? You remember his quarterfinal against Man United when he created his 1-on-1 chance and he missed it. If he was at Chelsea, they would have talked about that. I'm telling you, the fans would have immediately clipped that and said, "Look at Vardy, he missed that 1-on-1 chance."
And
that's
it's the money, and it's the price tag that goes with it.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about, the price tag. And I get what you're saying, Lewis. Lewis, you make a good point in the sense that, yes, he'll be carrying that 150 million or 130 million pound price tag every time he steps on that pitch. Every move he makes, every pass that goes wrong, every shot that he misses is going to be scrutinised. But that's down to him. Football is not a pony. Do you know what I mean? It's a beast. And if you're a footballer in this game, you've got to be thick-skinned. You have to be. So I don't doubt he's got mentality to deal with it. But yeah, playing for Dortmund and then coming to London and Chelsea is a different animal altogether. But the fans have got to be. They've got to give him time. They gave Werner all this time, and he made that miss against Germany, and the slander is just ridiculous. The guys had to turn his comments off.
I didn't give him time.
Yeah.
And again, I don't ever at players and slander them. That's childish. Like, why do you care to go at a player and slander him? But again, my point about this generational talent and everything else is, listen, you can't keep getting stuck on that or stuck in the weeds of, this play. If we miss out on this player, then for the next 10 years, we're going to, all these different things. When we signed Hazard, we missed out on, Neymar the same summer. And we were chasing Neymar for 2-3 years. It was all about us signing him. And we missed out. And then we signed Hazard, who's, also a generational talent. And that happens. So if we're getting stuck on, we have to sign Haaland because in the next 4 or 5 years, he'll be the best striker in the world. I don't care about that because I didn't know who he was till last year. And I'm not going to know who the next guy is next year. He's going to pop up, an 18-year-old scoring 20 goals in France or something, and then we want to sign him. So I would rather sign Lukaku now, who I know is going to give me 4 or 5 years at the top level. He's 28. He's already there. If in 4 or 5 years we're worried about who the next striker is, I'm not worried about that. We'll get whoever that is.
I don't think Marina will do it, mate. I don't think Marina, Bruce Buck, the board will put down. They'll Inter Milan will want 100 million. I just cannot see Roman putting 100 million on Lukaku when you can get Haaland for 130.
It won't be 100. It won't be 100.
It's going to be our world record signing of buying a player back that we already had. I mean, do you know how stupid that sounds?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But guys, I got a question for you. With the whole generational thing, is Harry Kane generational?
No.
Based on performances.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't get what they mean by generational. Do they mean the best in the generation, or is it like once in a decade, or what?
Regardless,
let's say once in a decade, and I'll say with Harry Kane, definitely one of the best strikers of the last decade. The only thing against him is the trophies, but as a player, yeah, you got to give him his props. He's quality. Yeah. He is quality. He would have walked into any side in Europe for the last 6 years straight.
But also, listen, I think we're coming back into the era of the center forwards or the strikers, because right now you can't find many. We basically missed like one generation, right? Because there isn't many 24, 25, 26-year-old world-class strikers right now. You have the 29, 28-year-olds, the Lewandowskis and up, and then you have the young guys, the 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds. There's no middle.
Yeah, there's no one in between.
A lot of strikers in the middle where it's like they're 25 and 26 and 24. Yeah, in that age. So it basically skipped one generation of strikers, and I think we're back in another one. You're gonna see 7, 8 strikers at the top level in the next couple of years.
It's like all of a sudden centre backs have gone like to a bare minimum, and strikers, like you can't. There's not like a 5 or 6 or 7 in the world that you can go. Yeah, I'd have him. I'd have him. I'd have him. Because
Can you
most
guys
of them
hear
all
me?
coming to the end of their career, or they're two at the start of their career. It's true.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I've got to jump on Lawrence's stream in a few minutes. So as a last question, what's everyone's score predictions for the West Brom game? Johnny, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna go 3-0.
3-0?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
going
much for a tight game then. All right, cool.
No, 3-0.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, 3-0, bro.
Fair enough. Fatty, you're going 2-0 West Brom. Can't be arsed, bro.
No. I said 2-0 Chelsea.
You're
Yeah.
Flipping out. All right,
2-0
2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. All right, cool. What are you saying, man?
Hey guys, don't hate me for this, but I think we're finally gonna concede a goal. So I'm saying 2-1 Chelsea.
What, you think Christensen's getting dropped? Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I just think the international break. Because of the international break, and all our players played too many minutes. So I think they're gonna, it might happen in this game.
If we do concede, then it's because we haven't got Christensen and we ain't got Mason Mount in the first team. Let's have it right.
Exactly, man. You already know. Hassan as well. What's your score predictions, bro?
I think it's gonna be a 2-0 win. I think it's not gonna be like a straightforward one. It's gonna be a frustrating one. Like we'll bug an early goal and then we bug another one at the 80th minute. It'll probably be like a frustrating game. Park the bus.
Yeah, I expect to see something similar to that as well. But guys, let us know your score predictions down in the comment section below. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Go straight to Lawrence's channel because he's doing a stream with Craigo and I'm going to be on there in about 10 minutes. Let him know that you came from me as well, just because I told him I'd tell people to go over there. So smash the like and subscribe button. Take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's hope it's after another 3 points. And as always,